Hollywood writers and actors, they've been on strike for months. There's new controversy as some shows are trying to come back. Auto workers also on the picket line, what they want and how this strike could affect the economy. Let's dig into the summer of strikes. This so-called summer of strikes started in May when the Writers Guild of America put down the pens of writers in search of better working rights. They were joined then by Hollywood actors 2 months later. And now the latest line to cross involved employees of the big three Detroit car companies. About 90,000 workers from these industries are on strike all around the country. So let's start with the screenwriters. Hollywood writers still on the picket lines over 4 months since the strike began. Writers walked off the job in search of higher wages, larger writing rooms, job protections against artificial intelligence. Well, the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, which represent the major Hollywood studios, offered a counterproposal last month. It included a guarantee that humans wouldn't be replaced by AI, plus a 20% increase in residual payments. No deal, though, has yet been agreed upon. The two groups plan to go back to the negotiation table sometime this week. Drew Barrymore no longer plans to bring back her talk show during the strikes. Her show, The Drew Barrymore Show, planned to return today despite the ongoing protest. She initially said her show complied with the rules of the strike. That prompted backlash from union members. Some members picketed the show in New York.
They have chosen to cross union lines and film despite the fact that we're having a strike here. It's all for one and one for all. So if one doesn't do, then it hurts us all, sadly, in this situation. And even though there are crew members who desperately need work, if we don't stick together against the studios, we won't be able to get fair wages that we deserve.
Barrymore canceled the planned return and apologized on social media. She says the show will come back after the strike is over. Actors joined Hollywood writers by beginning a strike in July. If you'll remember, 65,000 actors took up their picket signs. Hundreds of actors rallied outside Paramount Studios last week. They also want similar concessions to the writers. They're looking for higher pay, tighter regulation against artificial intelligence. Actors are focusing on residual payments from streaming platforms. They used to get payments for movies and TV episodes that re-aired, but now those payments have shrunk because of streaming services. There hasn't been any word in progress in those negotiations. Now, for most of us, the writers and actors strike mean that we just don't have many new shows to watch. But the strikes are causing economic downturns across the country. California right now likely taking the biggest hit. Film and TV production provides 700,000 jobs in the state, plus $70 billion in wages a year. North Carolina's burgeoning film industry is also waiting for the strikes to end. While our state doesn't have the same massive film industry, of course, as New York or California, movie and TV production was on the rise before the strike. Burgess Jenkins started a drama school in Winston-Salem. He says the work stoppage is hard, but worth it.
It's difficult. I would say that it's difficult and it's hard to go through and painful in that respect, but it's also important and advantageous at the end of the day that the rights of the artists, their likeness, their voices, and their work is properly respected.
The North Carolina Film Office says no major projects are filming or are in pre-production in our state right now. All right, now to the Detroit auto workers on strike. They've been off the job for 4 days. The United Auto Workers said they want the members to get a 40% increase. The companies have offered half that. Chris Van Cleve has the details.
It is a fight to take on corporate greed.
A weekend of Democratic heavy hitters rallying striking auto workers.
No justice, no peace.
Nearly 13,000 in Michigan, Missouri, and Ohio walked off the job Friday, halting production of popular SUVs like the Ford Bronco and Jeep Wrangler.
Our members are fed up.
United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain says some progress was made when talks resumed with Ford and General Motors this weekend.
We have a lot of work to do, when it comes to wages, when it comes to retirement security.
Do you feel like you're finding some places of agreement?
We're finding common ground on some things, but we still have ways to go.
The union is currently seeking at least a 36% raise, cost of living, and job protections, as well as an unwinding of concessions made during the Great Recession when the companies created a tiered paid scale, starting some employees at under $17 an hour, while others make nearly double for the same work.
The way they're treating the new hires coming in just isn't right.
The union rejected automakers' offers centered around a 20% raise. GM CEO Mary Barra on CBS Mornings Friday.
We're at the table now, ready to keep going and get this resolved as quickly as possible.
At Tony M's in Lansing, Michigan, auto workers account for up to 40% of the restaurant's business. Owner Tamara Farrell worries without a deal, the strike could expand to the auto plant literally down the street.
It's going to be tight, and I think it will affect my employees first. We'll have to cut back on hours so everybody can make it.
The workers that have walked off the job, they receive $500 a week in strike pay. And while they are targeting plants that make popular trucks and SUVs, experts say because of existing inventory, it's likely to take several weeks before consumers see any kind of impact on dealer lots. Well, the striking workers hope to end their labor dispute in the same way that UPS drivers did. UPS drivers threatened to strike back in June. Their union and the company instead signed a deal last month. And in that contract, drivers would get an average of $170,000 in annual pay and benefits with that new contract. The deal also ended mandatory overtime. It will benefit 340,000 union employees. UPS and the Teamsters Union fought for weeks this summer. The two groups avoided a strike by signing that new deal. Of course, we'll keep you updated on all the strikes on air and online.